itself is called Idea Forge. So idea is at the core part of our name and identity. Our story goes back about 20 years. All of us co-founders met each other while being at IIT Bombay back in 2002-2003 timeframe. And the common thing that brought us together was the common interest of playing with technology to create impactful things. It wasn't academic collaboration, it wasn't business collaboration, but just a common interest of playing with technology to create impactful things. And that's something which gave us the clarity and conviction of sticking together, despite soon enough realizing that we were in an ecosystem where there were a lot of odds against us. We started at a time when India was not known to create great hardware stories. So there was no one who would believe on a scalable hardware story coming out of India. We were at a time where drones as a technology or as a market were not heard of and not well understood. So we, being naive students out of IIT, took on the challenge of educating the market about what drones could do. And we underestimated the challenge. We thought it will be a shorter journey than what it was, and it took us much, much longer to educate the ecosystem about what was the potential of drones. And we also started at a time when the investment ecosystem wasn't ready for a venture which was into hardware and was working with defense. Both were a no-go for majority of the venture ecosystem. And it became an uphill battle for us, and that's where I think the association with SINE as an incubator for us paved the right sort of early nurturing grounds for us. We became part of SINE in 2007. In fact, the motivation to incorporate our company officially came because of the process of getting incubated at SINE. We had started our effort informally, but to be part of the incubator, we needed to be a private limited company, and that's how we got incorporated in February 2007. And the whole journey began as an official entity called Idea Forge. The name Idea Forge was motivated by the sense we had that we had the motivation to, at that time at least, we had lots and lots of ideas, and we didn't want to limit ourselves to a particular idea. So the theme was to forge, to give shape to ideas and convert them into reality. So Idea Forge is the whole process of forging the hardware, process of giving shape to metal to make useful things out of it. From the start itself, we have focused on the core technology that brings about the drone as a full product. And what we experienced initially as assuming it's a product, later on we realized that it was just a technology prototype. One of the earliest examples of that, you may recall, was shown in the movie Three Idiots. That was one of the earliest prototypes that we made, and the movie makers thought that it's an interesting project to showcase in the movie, and that example became part of that movie. And funnily enough, later on people would say, it seems you guys copied your idea from that movie, which was interesting to experience. So all along, I think the initial years from 2007 to many number of years beyond it, I think we outlived our official stay at SINE, and SINE team were kind enough to continue hosting us and giving us the support that we wanted, introducing us to the variety of investor and industry ecosystem that SINE had access to. But the initial few years were one of the toughest that we had, because in an environment where there is no funding ecosystem and the market itself is not ready to adopt your product, you have to really figure out how to sustain yourself. Sort of surprisingly enough, or through the business practices that we were able to evolve, we were able to self-sustain ourselves. So for the initial about 5 to 10 years, we were barely funded by the venture ecosystem, and we grew based on creating business. And I think it is very, very important for early stage companies to quickly get into a place where the business fundamentals start supporting its growth. Because only relying on the ecosystem for funding to stay aloft becomes difficult, especially in areas which are not, whose potential are not already realized by the ecosystem. So even today, I'm sure there would be industries and segments which are not as well appreciated by the ecosystem, and and organizations have to place a bet for the future of those particular industries. So it's always helpful for the entrepreneurs to figure out a way to sustainable profitability so that the growth could be internally fueled and sustained rather than waiting for an external factor to ensure survivability.